Hey everyone, John here! And the other day, I was browsing a used game store chain, CEX, and one thing I don't usually do is peer at the Wii U games, because I have most Wii U games that I'm ever gonna get. But I did, I peeked, and these games are nothing. They're going for nothing, they're just giving Wii U games away. There's a few exceptions, but for the most part, you can get a really good, chunky Wii U library for peanuts. And so what I wanted to do was take a modern game, like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. This goes for $69.99 on PSN right now, so around £70. And I want to see how many cool Wii U games we can get for £70. How many Wii U games can you get for the price of just one brand new game? But before we do that, first, a word from our sponsor.
I used to scoff at the idea of needing a skincare routine. Why would I need that? Despite my issues with acne growing up, I just couldn't be convinced. But Geology proved me wrong. It's a simple and effective personalized skincare routine. Just fill out this 60-second quiz to get your own personalized derm-grade skincare routine. As someone who struggles with starting routines, I wasn't really keen on adding a new one to my daily life. But Geology takes all of that planning out of my hands and does it for me. One thing I love about the kit is that they send you 2 bottles of the face wash, one for your sink and another to go into your shower. I also love the smell of the body wash. It makes me feel good. Use our code to get 70% off your own personalized skincare routine. You'll also get a free gift and an additional 50% off on add-ons. So why wait? Use our code now and start feeling better today. Thanks to Geology for partnering with us on today's video.
Thank you so much. So, we're doing all of these by CEX pricing, and you may be able to find a bunch of these cheaper elsewhere, but these are already pretty far down there, so I'm not going to bother shopping around. And the first game we're going with is Nintendo Land. And we're going to add £4 to the bank because that's how much this game is worth now. And it's one of the coolest party games I've ever played. Growing up, my core friend group were comprised of 5 people, so when playing multiplayer games, we had to rotate around to get another person in, whereas Nintendo Land is a 5-player game. You got 1 person on the gamepad, and then 4 people on the TV, and it's some of the best gamepad play on the entire console. Just amazing asymmetrical play. Lots of cool chase games like Mario Chase and Luigi's Mansion and the Animal Crossing game. Lots of variety with those. But there's also a lot of really cool single-player games like Donkey Kong Crash Course, which my wife loves. Metroid Blast. It's both a really good single-player game and a co-op game. In fact, it's probably the best Metroid spin-off we've ever had. There's a Zelda game that's a lot like the swordplay in Wii Sports Resort. All in all, this is just a must-have for the console, and I can't believe it's only worth £4. I want to do a big Nintendo Land video at some point in the future, but for now, all I can do is just say, if you see this for £4, just don't hesitate. Just throw your wallet at the CEX employee and say, just take £4. Don't take my entire wallet. But yeah, £4 in the bank. Next up, we've technically got 2 games. There's New Super Mario Bros. U, and New Super Luigi U. On CEX, Mario U on its own is £5, but the bundle with Luigi U is £6, so you may as well get both of them. So we're going to add that to the bank, making a total of £10 so far. And with this one, there's a lot of Wii U games that have been ported to the Switch with better visuals, more content, but this is one that I would argue strongly is still best on the Wii U. For one, you've got level playing field in multiplayer, everyone plays the same. You've got boost mode, so on the gamepad you can place platforms, which you just can't do in the Switch game. And there's really no other differences. The Switch game may be called Deluxe, but it doesn't have any new content other than Toadette and Peachette. That's really it. And I'd say that multiplayer as a whole is better on Wii U, making this the ideal version. It loads faster too, which is really weird for a Wii U to Switch conversion. But yeah, this is the best place to play Mario U, and it's really damn cheap. But let's stick on the Mario train for a little bit, because for £4, you can get the original Super Mario Maker. And it's true that officially, Wii U's Online is dead, so you can't officially upload levels and officially play levels. But I think there's still value, especially for £4, to the original Mario Maker. I find this is a really good local game. This version doesn't have local multiplayer, but just sort of testing and making levels together is a lot of fun. And the Wii U version has the ideal building interface. It's so easy to grab that stylus and place a block, place an enemy. It's also seamless, and it's one of the best uses of that gamepad and TV screen. To play on the TV, to create on the gamepad, it's just such a great and easy experience. So while a bunch of this may not be as accessible today, for £4 I still think this is great, so add that to the bank. And let's add Splatoon 1 as well. Obviously, just like Mario Maker, officially online doesn't work anymore, but there's a lot more to Splatoon 1 than just the single player. And for £3.50, you'd be nuts not to play this. It has a really good single-player mode that's absolutely worth just £3.50. You can disregard the multiplayer, disregard any other way of playing this online. For single-player Splatoon, £3.50 is a steal. There's some brilliant levels, brilliant boss battles, great story. So if you love Splatoon 2 and Splatoon 3 but haven't played the first one, I think there's a lot to get out of this, and it's such a low price. So bank Splatoon 1, we're at £17.50 right now. Now, this game in my hand has a Switch port. On CEX, that Switch version is £30, whereas this is £6. And the Switch version adds nothing really. It runs a little better, but that's about it. So for £6, why not play Bayonetta 2 on the Wii U? It's one of my favourite action games of all time, probably my overall favourite one. And I really love just the all-blue Wii U box art. It's just something that kind of misses from the Switch version. You can play this with a Pro Controller, you can play it on the gamepad. The only thing you're really missing is the online mode, which officially is offline, but that was never really much of a core feature. There's a lot packed into just the core main story game. A lot of cool Nintendo things too. There's a whole R-Wing Star Fox level, and a bunch of costumes like Samus and Fox. So, if you're a Nintendo fan, play this. If you're an action game fan, play this. And for just £6, you'd be nuts not to play Bayo 2. And let's stick to a very similar game. So this is worth £38 on CEX for Switch, and it's just £8, £30 cheaper on Wii U. And that is Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, my personal favorite side-scroller of all time. I think this is just perfection in platforming form, and it really has very few differences to the Switch version. Switch has Funky Mode? Is that worth £30 extra to you? Maybe it is. Other than that, resolution's higher on Switch, loading times are a little bit faster, but they're the same game. There's no new levels, so this is definitely worth playing on Wii U still. Supports the Pro Controller, really comfortable, really beautiful, even in 720p. You'd be absolutely bonkers. I keep calling you nuts and bonkers, but you would be not to play Tropical Freeze for such a low price. So let's add that to the bank. Alright, so we're currently at £31.50, still quite a way off our target. And let's go for a game that has no Wii U to Switch conversion. And that is Zombie U. Really, severely underrated game, and it's worth £3. We've talked about a few really good gamepad showcases, and this is one of the best. So this game doesn't really pause. So to check your inventory, you've got to deal with it on the gamepad in real time. So zombies can be surrounding you while you're trying to manage your guns and everything like that. There's also a bunch of really cool gamepad mini games. It's just really tense all the time, while being beautiful, being actually quite scary. And it's honestly one of my favorite survival horrors in recent memory. One of Ubisoft's best games in recent memory. There are PS4 and Xbox One conversions of this, but they really do lack something without the gamepad. And there's a great multiplayer mode too. I played this a bunch with my friends back in the day. So on the gamepad, you're spawning zombies. You're basically God. And with the Pro Controller, you're taking them down. So you're facing off against a benevolent God on the TV. Yeah, really, really cool game. If you sit for £3, just dive at it, okay? Dive! We are now officially halfway to the target, so another Wii U to Switch port conversion. On Switch, this game is worth £38, and on Wii U, it's worth £6. And I would argue that Switch version does add a lot, but if you're trying to play to your budget, you still can't go wrong with 3D World on the Wii U. The Switch version adds Bowser's Fury, which is a legitimately fantastic game. It makes the pacing faster, adds online play, it does add a lot. But even without all those bells and whistles, 3D World is a brilliant game, and something you shouldn't sleep on. A great multiplayer game too. There's some cool gamepad functionality, like some levels where you touch blocks to make them move. And I was going to include Captain Toad in here too, but I ran a bit tight on what I could include. And just to talk about it for a second, in Captain Toad on the Wii U, the gamepad's used pretty heavily, whereas the Switch has a pointer on screen at all times. So I kind of prefer the Wii U version in general, but the Switch version of Captain Toad has a bunch of additional levels, making that the better version, in all honesty. Whereas 3D World, I still think is very capable on the Wii U, and something you shouldn't shrug at. So add £6 to the bank. So right now on CEX, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is £40. Hasn't really gone down in price. Whereas Smash Bros. For Wii U is just £6. And if you're a bigger Ultimate player, try going back to Smash 4. They feel drastically different. The speed of the game is very different. Just the feel of all the punches have such a different impact to them. But I think that kind of makes them interesting. The core pacing is just very distinct in Smash 4. This is a different Smash game, rather than just a less evolved Smash game. And there's some cool different modes in there, like all the custom moves that didn't make it into Ultimate. Every single character has a bunch of alternate moves that you can apply to them, and then use in just core versus mode. So for £6, yeah, why wouldn't you just play a core game in the Smash Bros. Series? Let's add it to the bank! And on a pretty similar length is the £38 Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on Switch on CEX, versus the £5 Mario Kart 8 on Wii U. So why would you go back to the Wii U version? Isn't it just lesser? Well, if you disregard the Booster Course Pass and the new battle tracks, they're very similar games, but this has some distinct properties to it. You can only carry one item, which makes the actual racing pretty different. There's other exploits like fire hopping, which aren't in the Switch version, and it's just kind of funny to play battle mode on the core racetracks, which the Switch version doesn't let you do. That's core battle tracks, but for £5 it's quite a funny experiment to see a slightly different version of Mario Kart 8. And if you can't afford the Switch version, then you're really not missing out much at all, apart from the lack of official online. So add £5 to that bank. Now this one isn't as cheap as all the other games we've talked about, but Xenoblade Chronicles X is £48 on the Switch right now on CEX, whereas the original Xenoblade X is just £12. So this is just the steelbox, I don't know where the actual box is. So for £12, you get a very similar game. It's true the Switch version has a bunch of quality of life, it has a new chapter at the end, it's got some new side quests and new characters, but if you're not fussed about all that, and you just want to play the core Xenoblade X, this is still really good. It was always really good. So if you've got a Wii U and you want to save yourself £36, I think you're still going to get a really good experience out of the original Wii U version. I would advise you do play it on Switch if you have the privilege and the choice, but otherwise, this is a great version of the game. Alright, so we're only £7 away from that £70 target, and I've got two choices here. These are both worth £6. We've got Pokken Tournament, which I think is one of the best Pokemon spin-offs, and we've got Star Fox Zero, a completely original Wii U game. And I am going to disregard Pokken. I think this is better on Switch, you get more characters, it runs a little bit better, looks a bit better, and online still works, which is a big part of a fighting game. So we're going to go for the original Wii U game that isn't ported anywhere else, Star Fox Zero, for just £6. And you may have heard a few bad things about this game, but I think you can really enjoy it. Yes, it is pretty derivative of Star Fox 64, and yes, the aiming is a bit weird. What you've got to understand is the aiming reticule on the gamepad is accurate, whereas the one on the TV is not really aligned. You've got to aim from the cockpit view, and I think once you understand that, it's actually quite easy to play Star Fox Zero, and it feels really good to have that free gyro aim while moving around the screen. You get a lot of flexibility, and there's new possibilities like enemies that have targets below them to hit, which in most Star Fox games you wouldn't be able to do. But in Star Fox Zero, you just look up and bang, bang, bang. So I do think this is a good game. Yes, it gets a bad rap, yes, not everybody digs it, but if you can enjoy Star Fox Zero, why not, for just £6? And that brings us to £69. Nice. £1 below Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. So how many games did we get there? My shelf is looking pretty empty over there after grabbing all of those, but let's just compare. So we've got one game, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, versus all of these. This is the comparison. So how many have we got here? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're going to count this one as 1, 9, 10, 11, 12 Wii U games for the price of 1 modern games. And we're not just trying to pick whatever we can out of the library. These are some of the most essential games you can get on this system. I'd recommend every single one of these to any Wii U owner. And the fact that you can get all of them for the price of just 1 brand new game is bonkers. Obviously, there is more to the library that we don't have here. And I kind of want to run through very quickly what else we can get for another £70. So let's try this real quick. We've already talked about Captain Toad. That's £8. We've got the Wii U and 3DS exclusive Yoshi's Woolly World for £12. Very just delightful game. One of Good Feel's best games. Probably the best Yoshi game other than the original Yoshi's Island. Great soundtrack, brilliant platforming, great gimmicks, just lovely art style. Hopefully this gets ported somewhere else in the future. And then we've got Tokyo Mirage Sessions. This is a bit more of a pricey one for £15, but the Switch version doesn't really add that much. There's a few extra side quests, you can get characters to join in your combo, but really the Wii U game is fantastic. The core game is there, and so for a much lower price, I would absolutely recommend this one. Rayman Legends is essential on any platform, and for £5, why not? This one has really good Wii U gamepad usage, using the gamepad to control Murphy in some levels. Really great multiplayer game too, one person controlling Rayman, another controlling Murphy, and like Mario U, there's technically 5-player support in those levels as well, so another really, really cool one. We've got a Pokken, talked about this one, £6, and Pikmin 3, this one is £10. All these games are a little bit more expensive than the last one, but I think this version controls best on the Wii U. I love using the Wii Remote Nunchuck to move around, and the Switch version has like something that kind of emulates that, but it doesn't feel as good. And a last exclusive is Kirby and the Rainbow Paintbrush, Kirby and the Rainbow Curse, whatever you want to call it. £18, another pretty expensive one, and it brings us just over our £70 target at £74. But this is a beautiful game. It's a shame you've got to be looking at the gamepad all the time, but really, really lovely game. So we've got another pretty good stack of games here. Let me get it together. So less than the previous one, and more expensive games overall, but still much nicer than just one. And there aren't that many more essential Wii U games to get after that. There are a few more expensive Wii U games once we get out of this sort of territory, though. So right now, let's see. We've got games like Wind Waker HD, which is £35, Twilight Princess HD for £55, Sonic Lost World for £20, Tekken Tag Tournament 2 for £22. So there are a few more expensive Wii U games out there. But for the most part, you can pick up the bulk of the library. There's really not much more to get on the Wii U after we get these games for a really small amount. So for the price of 2 modern games, you can get every game that I just showed you. Which, again, is the bulk of the Wii U library. Most Nintendo libraries get more and more expensive over time, but Wii U is the exception, where it's pretty much stayed flat at the bottom. I guess we can thank so many Wii U to Switch ports for that, making the Wii U versions very, very low in price. But even the Wii U exclusive games are absolutely tiny. So thank you so much for watching, and let me know if you're going to pick at the Wii U library to get yourself a banger for your wallet. See you guys next time. Bye-bye.